Rio de Janeiro City, Federative Unit, Rio de Janeiro, Criminal State, Brazil, by the misused power combining peers at the institutional corruption and state corruption, was caught in Brazil by violation of rights after having guarantees suppressed by acts systematically made, which implies very intentional and having no excuse of Brazil and peers. We will observe that this deep web scam and the decisions you had even by silence has consequence. You have no right to destroy the pursuit of happiness of someone or someone else if this person is doing something all legal. And if you insist to turn this person into something worse qualified as a criminal by your hands at fake records on department, and this person got this as a motivation of life, for instance, to put you down, of course that this way as pursuit of happiness, you and anti-crime effort make even strong the desire, to get things properly made, but can be satisfied by who got combined and assumed the commitment as be against this single creditor. And nowadays looks like that by the big situation you are all passing through, the unique interest against the crime. I never, deceived no one about this. We observed that in the very beginning of the day, the afternoon yesterday, we have reported to the International Criminal Court, International Police, having the misuse of power as the issue that they must consider as corruption, institutional corruption, the use of power. And the antitrust justice and the OECD must have the talk as institutional dialogue about the concurrent field as institutional corruption with finalism to obtain generally the economic empowerment, illicit. These people do not have the effort, the dedication, and the life almost dedicated to someone to achieve the happiness or a dream. But in many moments it steal this from others, even by new technologies applied as blueprint. We will observe you'd like to put me in a situation to, fuck the whole thing. Not gonna happen because you already did. So we can't have conflict by the same institutional role. You did the mistake and I'm not gonna fix your problem, but carry on with my life. And I will request to reveal the reliable trustee, cutting the judicial power linked with the organized crime. The model of institutional control we offered to the antitrust justice and the International Criminal Court and the OECD based on center of interest using a very simple proportion. For instance, right now we are requesting to cut the judicial power doing the storage if noticed as not reliable trustee, because we need the reliability to be used as reliable trustee to do the storage. If they are unable to sustain this by association with the organized crime and state commitment as organized crime, they are out of the show, at least on my stage, because it's my right. The European monetary system and the US debit and credit was also observed. The security as IoT and the corrosive notations inside the system was always observed, and for sure we always told that it only happened if they got entry and remains, which implies the protection of the institutional level, that generally is who do the contract, who is doing the contracts, hiring process, and having the decision. Today, we use it as day 16, Sunday, Monday, Tuesday, Wednesday, Thursday, I think. We use it, the nemesis business, which is the idea as we have when you suffer an aggression, we switch this and put it against you, like the Trojan horse and other very ancient strategies, all legal. How deep web got doomed since 2018? First of all, because they did acts illegal with no excuses to be made in Brazil, combined with peers. If you had the hiring process of a company and you violated guarantees, you did something illegal. When you hurt a right, you hurt the right that belongs to a person, and this in general raises the expectation as compensation, depending of a lot of things, but in general it's like this. The compensation is because you did something wrong. As the finalism of your acts, you did something wrong, can be noticed by anyone. Deep Web 2023 is the scam complained since at least 2018. Current pattern has the interference at mobile or instruments like the top of an iceberg. But when you go deeper, we observe that has much more things on it. It's not on lines, but we'll talk. We observe that the first thing is the proximity interference. That will make an interference on your instrument, changing the embedded architecture setting, levels at the communication, and also partitions, and then you will have an entire parallel thing, created. Take a look, please, at the example here. You will observe that you are in your home with your mobile. Next door, as offender near you, will have some peripheral instruments similar to yours, making the interference and using applications. For instance, the operational system Android has the sheets, the slides, the YouTube, the Google Chrome, and in each one you have signed as login. The interference can make the login in each one, even as not you using the partitions. When you unset the Google account, the layout of your mobile change. And if you will unset all Google applications, the layout will be different all the time. In the same way, the background of your instrument, if you set something black, when you disable the Google account, you will check that it will be something blue. It's changing. Then the interference will collect the data, everything you are doing in your personal computer. In this case, the interference made at the cable connection. Here is at the signal. That by authorization of access, you will be logged in at least one of those instruments that will transfer the information between themselves and from themselves to many other areas. But they got down, one more time, using the principle of counting, or the counting principle, which is this idea here. You will have a single instrument with not authorized collective data. After the interference on private living, hurting the privacy and interest on it, is spreading the uses, some uses that are very personal. And the data spread is sourced on your privacy by violation of rights and guarantees. Over 10 years is harassment. The repetition of signal go by its level of counting, as you can observe here. It's the same thing. But the information you receive and collect at my source, transfer and spreading, can be, for instance, a lie or something illusional that I put to push, for instance, and I consider you must have the phone calls, considering that Brazil and peers are fraudulent and fraudators. They are criminals at the use of power, from the government, the presidential chair, the Supreme Court, whatever. They will change the facts and circumstances to scapegoat anyone else and save themselves because they are back office in the organized crime. You will transfer also the noise. If, for instance, I say that someone is my girlfriend and you decide to hurt this one, you indeed, and then you notice there's a mistake or something like this. I put a project that do not exist. This pushed the interconnection as interaction between you all. And we can, have this bubble of noise as something named as ancient strategy, the Trojan horse. I put the element to create the noise, you have the arguments and be exposed as who is collecting the data and that must be convicted by economic espionage. The issues you got in touch is fused with real thing. Who is with me since from the very beginning knows the issues which are for real, and that one that are kind of illusional. And you will observe that things spread. For instance, if you got this and it's spread because you consider, let's suppose that Brazil has as the way to improve the greatness, destroy the judicial secrecy in USA or Europe, or broke the industrial secret, or spread the core business that is kind of something that we are doing the development. But and share this with the most deadly enemy of the United States. And the United States, as Uncle Crook had a call to take a look, deadly enemy. They are doing this with me. Let's see if they will do this with you. Let's see together, let's have some Kentucky Scotch. I mean, it's not Scotch, but whiskey. So, you will check this. And you will check those kind of things. Right? Brazil, peers. We will sustain the consequence and face them all. I bet you have no escape. And it's like this, right? Any question? Your situation is weird at the criminal system. But as a criminal, you expect what? If you are at the robbery of a bank and got a bullet in your head, you will claim yourself as a victim, holding a gun, have a gun in your hand, threatening everybody and spreading terror and trying to steal what it's not yours, and then you finally got a bullet in your head, you will say that you are a victim. You are not a victim, you are the offender. If you are 10 years stealing data and having exposed by this, you can claim yourself victim or the interests of you or your peers. You are all offenders. You are qualified, they got viewed as a criminal system with no dignity, with all quality observed at criminal groups like cowardice, the falsehood, the perfide, the corruption. And another thing, the pro bono, it doesn't mean has nullius. It means the thing has no owner. Has an owner. Me, I'm the owner, and I'm the owner of the right, and I'm the owner of the complaint, the entire procedure, and all things made. It's all mine. Even pro bono. If you come to my place and I will serve you kind of a drink, like the cartoon The Simpsons, the Flaming Homer, that the mole stole it, and then the mole got down. Had the show with the Aerosmith, and the mall got down, which was unveiled and the entire city had a thing. And you consider that you will do this very American thing, very, national proud Americans. Then you will check that indeed the drink or the dish or something exclusive I made, even pro bono, it doesn't mean with no owner. Belongs to me. It's my dishes, it's my drink. I did something like this. You can go around making things like this, especially by the finalism as, back office the organized crime. We're totally wrong down here. You all are connected, interacting by criminal purpose, with no excuse to continue, but you are still there. And this shows the weakness as institutional weakness. I have no doubt that the data that got lifted will create problems to Europe and USA, and they, by the dishonest behavior we observe, will push some kind of big event as civil war, something like this. It doesn't mean that will happen, right? But will happen some specific events that kind of like that will be uncomfortable by the association they have as institution, misguiding the purpose of those institutions and having the conflict with the interests that are against those institutions, but by gains and greed they got linked with. It doesn't have the doesn't one would you shouldn't try to show now that is something as infiltrated. No, you did to obtain the advantage, got caught with the hands in the air, make a bet really high to do the fake records and got unveiled at this. Now you must face the consequence, right? I will, have my off season. I wish you success at your decision if you had the courage to do, because you offered the machine. The machine has no feeling and can do this quite simple, and it's codified by numbers to avoid noise. You just trace the period, recognize starting with the -1 as the tracer, unveil the criminal purpose on regular area, and they will have segmented the institution have this pattern. The interaction form the pandemic mobilization of crime. Only goes because the variables interacting remains inside the institution, having the approach of this period codified and have a big bubble of information that is try to changing the past to prevent consequence of the near future that is against them all by the current misuse of power. We complained this at the International Criminal Court, had no word, at the Antitrust Justice, had no word, and we are, offering to you audience, I would say, even very poor, but it's something that in general people have no interest, especially as protection of right. And by this mankind is living even much near day by day to the slavery of things that are kind of will put them all below the animals. They have sex with animals nowadays, right? Subjugated in a position that the animal is the dominant. Can be a dog, a horse, whatever. You lost the humanity. Have a nice weekend.